GingerFish.
I'm trying to get you close today. Hey, yo.
GingerFish, how you doing?
Hi. How's it happening?
This is Tito from Shockwave Magazine in Baltimore, here with GingerFish and RobZombie. Thank you so much for being here. Baltimore, big horns up, and we all just thank you for your time. Tell me about Mayhem Fest. I just want to get that one out of the way because it's, you know, got bills to pay. Mayhem Fest, how's it treating you this year?
I mean, it's great. I love it. I mean, every day is different, obviously, so you have your good days and your bad days, but I mean, it's only been, just past halfway point, I guess. And I say, you know, every show's been great. There's a camaraderie with all the bands. Everyone's been hanging out afterwards. There's usually parties. There's been different theme parties. A couple nights back, they did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles party.
Yeah.
And everyone was dressed with the Donatello masks and everything else. 2 nights ago, it was an 80s prom party.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah.
me and my tech actually spun for that. We did videos and we were throwing on the ceilings and craziness or whatever. And everybody was dressed in drag, like a prom queen and stuff like that. It was crazy. Not everybody. It was 50-50. We had some prom kings, some prom queens, but fun night, definitely.
Awesome. How does this year compare to like in past year when you're? Because I know that RobZombie's been, you know, a veteran now when it comes to Mayhem Fest. Were you on?
I wasn't on the last Mayhem Fest with Rob, so so this is new for me.
New for you. Awesome.
I know everyone from Mayhem Fest from playing in previous bands, but I mean that goes way back. So everyone's like family. Everyone's really.
Because I've been doing my research and know that you are down with all the Marilyn Manson, Rob, and you did Power Man 5000 a little bit.
That was just a crazy. I played keyboards on something. I was just hanging out with the guys, and they said, "Come down to the studio, hang out." And I went down, and I'm from Vegas.
Yeah.
And they're like, "We want to do a lounge thing, very Vegas-y." So they just started jamming, and I sat down on the piano and started jamming. And I thought we were just practicing, coming up with stuff. And the producer walked in and goes, "Yeah, we got it, we're done." I was like, I thought we were just practicing.
Yeah.
You know? And they just tracked it, took it, and sent it, and put it on a record, and boom. Thank you, boys, you're done. So it happened.
Yeah.
I just saw Sparta the other day. He came out to the show. He's obviously, I go way back with him and the history, so it's great.
Speaking of Vegas, I read somewhere that you started playing at around 2 or so, and
I was in Boston at that time.
Yeah, and then but that you played all the way up through college, and you went to the University of Nevada, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, UNLV.
How can you talk about that, the college years? What was that like? Were you entrenched to the person that you are today, or were you still?
Well, when I went to college, obviously you get your parents telling you got to be a professional, you got to do something with your life. I obviously want to be a musician, so I went to school for music. And I'd find myself sitting in class, listening to these fat little dorky teachers tell me how to be a performer. And none of them were performing. None of them, they weren't doing it themselves. So I was like, how can I listen to people tell me word of advice how to do something when they're not doing it? They were never capable of doing it. They're theoretically correct. They learned their music theory, but they don't have any idea what it means to tour, or any idea what it means to really perform in front of a crowd and be motivated. They just didn't get it. And I was constantly getting phone calls saying, "Hey, we want you to play. We want to do some stuff." So I would leave school and go play, and then come back to school, and then I get another call, "Hey, come do some gigs." And I go do a gig and go back to So I was going in and out of school, and eventually I was just like, why do I want to go to school to learn how to become a musician when I've got gigs? I'm working. So pretty much I've just been a full-time worker. I've always worked. Right out of high school, I've always played. I've always worked in bands and stuff like that. I like to do a lot of other things, but I always fall back on playing. That's the fallback. People say don't have something to fall back on because that's what you'll end up doing. Music is what I fall back on because that's just what I end up doing all the time.
Well, speaking of motivating crowds that you had mentioned a second ago, is there any motivating crowds that have stood out in the past halfway point here in Mayhem, like from the beginning to now? any crowds that have, in these cities that have specifically kind of stood out? I'm like, wow, those guys are looting.
Not in Mayhem. I mean, Mayhem
Or beyond.
Yeah,
beyond.
I mean,
beyond.
I can think of past places where, like, you know, Corpus Christi, which is Texas. Crowds just be insane. Just insane.
Now describe insane, because you guys come from this, I mean, you're in this bubble of the Mansons and this. What is insane?
I mean,
what does that even
hardcore,
mean
like,
for you guys?
I wouldn't want to go in the crowd in the middle of a mosh pit. I mean, just crazy, big, mean-looking dudes, and just, I'm not going anywhere near that place.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've bet the crowds or whatever that everyone's looking to fit in. You know, it gets weird when you see the crowds and the crowds look weirder than the band. And I've been in that situation where you look out in the audience and it's like, whoa, some people are going way over the top trying to be crazier than the band is. It gets to a point where, you know, no matter how hard you try, you can't top the next guy. You know, everyone's going to be nuttier, crazier, or wilder.
It kind of goes all the way back to where almost like normal then becomes the weird new crazy.
Yeah.
And normal in the quotations.
That's what I always said. Oh, you know, you gotta do a Christian record. You know, start doing a gospel record, a Christian. You know, it's like that would freak people out. You know?
That would be shocking. That would be shocking. New CD, RobZombie new CD. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. What can we expect?
I mean, I love listening to the CD. When I recorded the CD, I didn't know how it was going to turn out. Because when I recorded it, was just like riff A, riff B, let's jam riff C. So I didn't know where it was going to go. There were no lyrics at the time, so I wasn't sure what the thought or the context was going to be in the songs. Which is hard because I like to play around a singer. I don't want to step on a singer's toes. So I don't like really playing too much and then a singer wants to put words right there and I'm like being sloppy. But I kind of like to play around a singer. But with this recording process, I just, they give me a call and say, hey, we want to fly out to Rob's Ranch. That's where we recorded in Connecticut. Can you call your drum company, Premier, have them send a drum set out here? So Premier shipped a bunch of drums over there. You know, I was getting on a plane and I called, it was like, the drums arrived. We haven't seen any drums, there's no drums around. And I flew there, and I was only supposed to be there a week. I get there, like, there's no drums yet. Like, they said the drums are here. No, there's no drums. I said, Rob's place is so big. I searched, I went around the property, and I found the drums sitting on a porch. Like, you know, a truck driver came by and dropped them on a porch.
Ding dong.
Yeah, and nobody knew they were there. So I had my drums sitting there, you know, boxes on a porch, whatever, in a place nobody even knew they existed until I went and searched. In the pitch dark with a, you know, iPhone flashlight, searching like, hey, here's some boxes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love it. I love that when I play some of the new songs, I feel like I'm playing some of the old songs. There's certain where I'm like, you know, this is very reminiscent of this, or this is very reminiscent of that. So there's a very old school feel to the new album, which I'm sure will please some people. Other people are like, oh, you know, give us something new,
Yeah.
And other people want you to rehash old stuff. But there's a little of both with the new album. It's definitely places the band's never gone before, and there's definitely songs that have touched on history. So.
Well, touching on the ones and places that you haven't gone before, can you give us an example? And give us is it more in topic or in tonality? Is it in the format of the songs? The places that you haven't gone.
Gone before.
You say the album was split.
Yeah.
Almost split.
Well, I mean, I wasn't around the old projects, so I wasn't really around when it happened to know how they went about stuff. But I think there's probably a song or two on this album that's more programmed than the old stuff was. I think it's more drum machine oriented on some things that weren't before. And then on the other aspect of it, I think there's songs that are played very much like the old songs were played. So there's two opposites in that aspect. You know, one minute you're talking about a program, next minute you're talking about really playing. So they're definitely different.
When you're in studio, and when you're in the studio with RobZombie at his ranch, tell me about it. Is that a pressure cooker, or are you? Because I know. Is that? I know it's one thing to be on stage, it's another thing to be, you know, friends
Yeah,
with your
I'm not a
live.
studio guy, so that's, studio's a pressure point for me because I'm a live guy. I get out and I play and I need to feed off the audience, and, you know, if I drop a stick or I screw up, that's just something that happens as part of the show or whatever. In the studio, you don't do that. You don't drop a stick and just pick one up and keep going. You know, you're screwed up, you gotta start over again. Everything's so perfect. And yeah, I've never been that guy to be so perfect. I kind of go around saying I'm the Keith Moon of this band. I'm the screw up. Everyone's so perfect, and John Fire's a session guy, and he's just like so on everything all the time. It's like, it's very daunting to try. Yeah, just trying to keep up with him. It's ridiculous. That explains why he's so nice.
You just plug him in. Think Apple makes one, or is he an Apple?
Yeah, he's so nice because he doesn't have that human quality to be mean or dark. I mean, because they just didn't program that into him.
Yeah.
I guess.
I heard he's a robot.
Yeah.
In a good way. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer. Two little quick questions that kind of off the wall. If you could kill anybody, who would it be? Who would you hide the body?
That is a good question. I think the number one rule with that is you don't tell anybody. You never admit it. Well, the second person.
The second most likely person.
The second likely person I'd probably have to kill, I would say, would be Marilyn Manson. But with that, I would have to take credit for it.
Yeah.
So, and I know that fans are going to kill me for that one. And if I killed Manson, I'd say, like, you know, I did it, sorry, it had to be done, I didn't mean to, but I'm not killing anybody. It's not going to happen.
No, that's fine.
But
what would you do with all the Manson bits? All the Manson pieces? All the Manson chunk? What would you do with the body?
well, now we're getting deep.
Yeah,
We're getting deep. And you're getting back into my psychic, like,
no,
do I write a book? Do I write a movie? Whatever. I've actually thought this well out a million times over, and I actually eat the parts of each band member that they were so stuck up on.
Oh,
Right.
Right.
That's where. And now I'm admitting to telling you what's going to happen in the future.
So when your band members go missing, look for them in your poop.
Each member,
look for them in your poop.
Each member that's pissed me off, I have a piece of them in my gut. So there's no evidence to prove it. There's no, you know, it's tidy, leave it clean, eat the everything possible. Bye bye, gone.
Awesome. Out of and I only know this because I'm a little bit of a geek, but tell me, what is it from about Albert Fish that grabs your attention to the point where you would wrap that around the person, the entity that you are today?
Yeah.
What is it that dances with your...
That goes to Manson again too, because he came up with that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the fascination with it, be it that people like to say I'm a pedophile, and Albert Fish was a pedophile, so they kind of correlate those things together, which I'm not a pedophile.
He's not a pedophile.
Not a pedophile.
Not a pedophile.
Don't go near underage people. So.
Well, seriously, I really appreciate it. Is there anything that you would add to make this even more colorful than it's already been? Because, again, I'm just honored that you would give me the time.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm used to drummers to be seen and not heard. So anything out of my mouth, I feel, is one word too many. Because drummers really are supposed to keep the trap shut.
Y'all the backbone.
Which, I mean, I know there's a lot of bands out there, the drummers are talk. It's just not me. I've never really been that.
Do you all divvy it up when it comes to speaking to the fans and being and to the entities?
With the zombie camp now, everyone does their part, you know, because it's a team. Everybody in the zombie camp, mean, we're all on one bus. Most bands are all split up in separate buses, and they just don't hang together. Zombie Camp, we're all on one bus. I mean, the band, the Wise, everybody, we all hang out as a family. And I mean, everybody's got to do 4 to 6 press things today, and it's just all split up equally. Everyone just, you know, contributes and does their thing, and each person does certain things so well that, you know, the others let them do that. Like if we need a photo taken, well, Rob takes good photos, but Piggy has a professional camera, and he comes out and takes a lot of the photos. So I pretty much spend most of my time doing video stuff, video work, but that goes into my VJing and stuff like that. I mean, John's a writer, so he just writes all day. That's all he does and stuff like that. But everyone does their part, and things get done that way. It's easy, I guess, because you can put one person in charge of everything, and there's just not enough time in the day to do it. So it's a different world, definitely.
Well, what do you? What's your take on fans? How well do you interface with fans a lot, or do you?
I mean, I've met from day one. I've met thousands of fans, because I'm always the one that's hovering around before the show or hovering around after the show. You know, I would always be the one signing the autographs by the bus. I'd be always the one walking out front saying hi to people and stuff like that. And again, being a drummer, it didn't matter how nice you were or how nice you, how many people you spoke to. It was always like, when's Twiggy coming out here? You know, when's so-and-so coming out here? It's never good enough. So it doesn't matter who you are. Someone's gonna, it's not gonna be enough for somebody, and they're gonna be like, I want this, I want that. That comes with fans too, whatever, you know, you talk to them, you're nice to them, next thing you know, they want your phone number, they want your email address. Now with the social world, everyone's Twittering and Facebooking and Instagramming, and you know, it's just a weird time right now where everyone thinks they have the right to talk to everybody, and they're like pissed off if you don't respond to them. Or, hey, can you give me a retweet? You know, I want to. It's my birthday. It's like, okay, like you have time. There's 20,000 people who has birthdays today, or whatever. But you deserve a retweet right now. This very moment. This isn't enough time. You know, so I said you can be as nice as you possibly can be to everybody in the world, and there's still someone's going to say you're an asshole, and that sucks. You know, it really sucks, but. And the strange thing about that is, like, people like Rob go way out of their way to apologize to people that you know, he didn't have time for the first time, whatever. It amazes me. It's shocking, you know, how much this camp cares about everybody. And I sleep more than anyone else in the band. I was gonna say there's not enough time in the day. You gotta sleep sometime. The other guy, I don't know that I sleep. The other guys are like up at 6 in the morning working, and you know, if they're not, you know, Rob's working on writing a script or doing this, doing that. Everybody's running around, and John's on the phone talking about getting his kids, you know, picked up somewhere. This is going on, that's going on.
Have you ever wondered if maybe they're vampires and they just wait till you go to sleep so they can do their vampire stuff?
No, I've gone through that whole realm, obviously, living in New Orleans and stuff. You got that whole the era of people. My best friend that had to do the interview with vampire, get all dressed up and do that whole, you know, that was the 90s, you know, so you're too tan now to be a vampire.
No, but that's the new thing. It's vampires that take tan vampires.
That's the thing I didn't get about the Twilight. The Twilight, they hang out, they sparkle in the sunlight. So ridiculous.
Thank you, seriously. It's been a pleasure, it's been an honor. You're a great guy.
Thanks.
And be careful out there. Baltimore says thank you. Shockwave says thank you.
Thanks.